So the Lobster takes place in a world that doesn't tolerate single people. So they have to go to a hotel when they become single and try and find a mate within 45 days. If they don't succeed, they turned into an animal of their choosing.
Rachel, whilst the film takes a very normal day-to-day concept, obviously it does give it a very unique twist. What actually drew you to the concept of doing this film?
It wasn't really the concept of the film that drew me to it. It was just Yorgos, the director. I wanted to work in his universe. I mean, I couldn't do any research. I couldn't go and meet a loner. Nothing that's in the movie really exists in the real world, except everything exists because it's set in the real world. It's just our world with different rules. And I thought that was just a fascinating experiment.
Oh, audiences can expect confusion. No, I don't think it's as. I mean, it's an absurd story. The conventions of the story and the world in which it exists and the rules of the world are quite absurd. But I think it's possibly more accessible than I thought it was in reading it. I believe it's funny. It is kind of funny. I've laughed. There's absurd moments of hilarity in it, and I found it kind of ultimately moving by the end of it. But most of all, it's a peculiar film. It's a very singular film, the like of which I'd never read before. I can't imagine anything that I could relate it to, you know.
Lovely. Now, obviously, it takes a very normal, everyday concept of loneliness,
Yes.
and it sort of gives it a unique, intriguing twist
Yes.
that none of us can expect or ever imagine.
Yeah.
What's it like preparing for a role like that?
It was kind of no preparation. I mean, I ate a bit, but apart from that, and thought about the script, and for me, that's where most of the work is done, is just in contemplating the lives of the characters, or the life of the character you're playing, and the world that they inhabit. But there was no backstory or no rehearsal, and Yorgos didn't want to talk actor backstory, character stuff. He didn't want to know. If you asked him a character question, he'd stick his fingers in his ears and go la 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 la. He doesn't want to know, which is hilarious and kind of a little bit scary at the start, and then not scary at all. And he just cast who he cast, and he trusts all the actors. And the story is very much, and the writing is very much, and the directing, to be honest, the star of the film. The complexity of the world that's created, as I said, and as absurd as the world is, the logic that it's designed with, which is one of the great tricks of the film, is that it's so extreme, the concept of it, and yet, for me, I think it becomes normal very early on. Like Dogtooth, I came out of Dogtooth, Yorgos' previous film, I thought, how do they make that world seem like as twisted and as absurd and as sinister and as destructive and painful and grotesque as it was in Dogtooth? How do they make that world seem like a world of normalcy? Now it's just pure craft and intelligence and brilliance on behalf of Lanthimos, who wrote the script with Yorgos, and Yorgos' direction.
Now, obviously, the film itself takes a very sort of like normal, everyday concept and gives it a really unique twist that's really unexpected. What do you think audiences will make of it?
I think they'll all be aware of, online dating and this desperate need that people have to try and force their single friends to go out with someone. For some reason we can't cope with it. And so it's funny that it takes it to that extreme and arrests everyone for being single.
Now, whilst the film does deliver some sort of unusual humour at times throughout the film, what actually drew you to the film itself?
Because it was different. I like doing things that are different, and I like things that are dark, and it was funny. And it's a chance for me to play someone quite evil, which was really fun as well.
Following on from that, can you tell us a little bit about your character?
So she's the hotel manager, or prison guard officer, and she's keeping everyone in check, and she's horrible.
And how have you found it? How have you found the process of working with the other cast within the film itself?
Oh, lovely! They're really, really, really lovely bunch. Yorgos got together a really nice team. There were no egos or anything, and everyone's had a lovely time.
Whilst it does deal with a day-to-day concept that can bother most people on a day-to-day basis, it's been done very interestingly.
Yeah, I think to put it in another universe and to actually strip away all the niceties and go, this is what we're expecting, and what you want to be is compatible with your lover, and when you're not compatible with them, a relationship doesn't work, and some people like being on their own. Some people won't let them be on their own. Some people drag them back to the hotel whether they like it or not. So it's all those parallels are there, but to put it in a sort of stripped down on the universe is just hilarious, I think.
What originally drew you to the project?
I was asked the greatest draw to any project to be asked.
Obviously, whilst it's interesting,
A massive compliment. I just, somebody turned me on to Dogtooth, and I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. So, for then out of the blue this to come out is just, you really, I must have done my prayers right that morning, and so Yorgos got in contact and we Skyped each other, and before I know it, I'm on the plane heading over. So, yeah, it was fantastic, a real joy.
And obviously, what have you found working with the rest of the cast?
Joy, you know what I mean. Standing like knee deep in mud with Coin Farrell's hilarious. Walking through these woods in a
you could be doing worse things.
Yes, walking through wet woods with a camel in the background and Rachel Weisz in a pack-a-mac is one of life's joys. Let's be honest. You know what I mean?
I wrote the script quite early in the process, and that's it. He gave me the scenario and he proposed me the part of the maid. I think it was a very weird and funny character inside of all these two worlds, because I'm going into the opposite worlds, and that's it. I loved it, and I said, of course, yes.
Now, obviously, this is a very unique, intriguing film. What actually drew you to the concept of doing this film?
I'm just a big fan of Yorgos' work from before as well, so I'm just very happy to read something like that. It's so unique, and so I think it's a great mirror of our society, and it kind of say a lot about us, and I think it's scary, and I kind of like the film that really put yourself under question, yeah. And
obviously you're working with some very extraordinary talent on screen. How have you found that process?
It was great. No, they're amazing. They're talented people and very generous and lovely people, so it was very easy to work with them, of course.
Now, obviously, loneliness is one of those things that obviously affects most day-to-day people. What's compelled you to sort of like tell it in this way?
I guess I'm always interested in pushing situations into extremes and explore from a different angle all the issues and conflicts that arise from that.
Your cast within the film is obviously, Colin, Rachel, Michael, Ben. What's that been like to work with?
It has been wonderful. There are many actors, and most of them I hadn't worked with before, and I didn't really know that well. So I didn't know exactly what to expect and how it was going to work out, but they were all extremely committed, supportive, generous, very smart, understood the material. So it just worked out perfect.